We are pleased to be joined now by mother and daughter. They are two incredible women who have an incredible story. They are people who are working to improve the lives of justice-involved people and have a personal reason and a personal commitment to this. So please welcome to the stage from Mission Launch, TERESA HODGE and LAURIN HODGE.
Good afternoon. I am TERESA HODGE. I am one part of the mother-daughter team. I guess you could tell that. When I went to prison in 2007, I had two concerns. The first concern was, would I be relevant in the business community when I came home? I knew innovation was changing the world. And when I went to prison, that was realized a few days later. Steve Jobs announced the first smartphone was going to take place. Shortly after that, Twitter and the whole social media craze happened. When I went to prison, Facebook was something that young people in college were using, and all of a sudden it turned into something business people were using. The other concern I had was, would I be relevant in the life of Lauren? I knew that I was going to prison, but for her to go to prison, that was a decision she had to make. I was fortunate that the second fear that I had wasn't realized.
One of the benefits that I have of our story is that I actually was a mature person. I had just graduated from college and was entering into the workforce. So when mom went to prison, I always tell her that I went to prison because we don't send people, we send families. And so as she came home, we both came home. And in that, we decided how would she repurpose her life and her 20 years of work experience. And we decided to take the best of her and the best of me, and we created Mission Launch. And we had our very first hackathon in 2014. So for those of you who have no clue what a hackathon is, here is a 5-second version. Separate the words, hack-a-thon. So the goal is to have a problem and hack until you get to a solution in a marathon fashion. And if you're in college, it usually means 36 hours. So I'm gonna tell you a really quick story. So in 2015, we held a hackathon in Washington, D.C. And we invited folks who were formerly incarcerated. We invited government officials, educators, community members who had never heard of Reentry, but they just wanted to know how could they help their community members. And we invited some folks that mom actually was incarcerated with. One of them was a lady named Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa was incarcerated in an Alderson Federal Prison Camp for 188 months. And when she was preparing to be released in her 60s, she cried. She cried because she knew that gentrification had happened already in DC and that she had no clue how she was going to connect to this digital world. And at mom's suggestion, she came to the hackathon on her cane with her family, smiling and saying, I have no idea what y'all got me doing. I'm just here to hug TERESA. And I got up and I explained the rules of a hackathon, which go like this. If you have a problem or an opportunity, you have 60 seconds to come to the mic and pitch it. And if your idea is good, and if you can rally support, the community in this room will back you and build a solution to your problem or to your opportunity. It took about 5 people before I saw Miss Mona Lisa hobble up to the mic. And I was like, well, ma'am, here we go. I have no clue what you're gonna say. But what she said was, here's my problem. I don't know this city, and I don't know how to download an app. So I would like to create the Welcome Backpack. Mona Lisa ended up with the biggest team there, and the only problem we had is the hackathon funders didn't understand the issue, and the reentry funders didn't understand the hackathon. So when I went to them to propose that they give me a $25,000 prototype grant to get the Welcome Backpack off the ground, there was a disconnect. Sadly, Mona Lisa died this year, and we never got the right resources to the right person at the right time. And so for us, criminal justice and reentry innovation is, how do we close the gap? And what could have happened with $25,000?
So when we talk about where do we go from here, in our perfect world, it would be to a hackathon. But since that's not a part of the schedule, don't worry that we're gonna go for 36 more hours. We know that criminal justice is primed for innovation. The hope is that we don't make it just a buzzword. We don't put it on our proposals. We don't put it on our website. But we really bring innovation to criminal justice. In order for that to take place, we need infrastructure and we need an ecosystem. It's going to be kind of like making sausage. People want to eat sausage. Nobody wants to see sausage being made. But in this moment, we have to make the sausage. We've got to put the infrastructure and the ecosystem together, because without that, we won't get the $25 necessary when a person who's directly impacted by incarceration says, I have this idea. We won't be able to prototype it, and we won't be able to get the resources. And if it works, we won't be able to scale it fast enough. The lean startup model, I think, is something that criminal justice could also adapt to. It's learn quickly, fail quickly, learn from your failures, learn from your successes, and share it with other people. It's time for us to bring innovation to this space.
So transitioning from all that we've heard over the last 2 days and the roughly 16 showcases of ideas, our big challenge is really sitting with ourselves and determining our capacity. How do we take the things that we've heard, pull them out of the sky? So yes, we all agree that data-led is where we're going. But how do we get from data-led on paper to data-led in programming? And so for us, what we're suggesting is this. Take an innovation inventory. If you're from New York, you have hopefully an opportunity to sit for a little bit. If you're like us and you're about to commute, use your commute time. And what I'm encouraging you to do is think on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you a risk taker? Those would be our ones. Are you in a culture and a community that's more risk adverse? And perhaps your value to the innovation community and our ecosystem is your stability. That's a 10. Prime example. I'm probably close to a 1 to a 2. What I was missing 2 years ago when I couldn't get the resources the right way was someone who was more a 9 or a 10, who could take all my crazy ideas and throw them in a logic model and walk with me into a room full of funders and say, this is what this girl is saying. This is not complicated. It has taken me 3 years to learn the language, and that's 3 years too late. And so for us, what we're trying to get to is, where are you on the spectrum? Innovation, culture, ecosystem shifts require all of us. And maybe we don't need you to go back and become a 1. We need you to partner with the ones, and we need the ones to partner with the 10s.
I'm going to close out, because I hear we have more speakers going and we're on a tight schedule, by telling you a story that when I was once in the business community, and a lot of us were coming together, business owners, and we were looking to partner with one another. And we were trying to see if we could take what we were doing, the one little thing, and turn it into something better for a bigger population. And after we all came together and showcased and shared who we were and all of our shiny baubles, someone said, now let's share our failures. Because I want to know what you've learned from your failures. We can learn from each other's failures. We can start measuring things that matter. And the more that we speak about our failures openly to one another, it allows us to build trust quickly, and it'll allow us to get to solutions much faster. Thank you so much.